Hello everyone, so today's video is the second part of Raven. So we're picking up where we left off. We've just created our first character, who is Rowena, and she is an aristocratic poet. Now, I believe when my last video left off, I was going to talk about maybe another character I was going to introduce. So that brings me on to Annabel. Anabel, anyone? If anyone knows that. So this is her sister, and she is an obsessed summoner. And yes, so I filled in all her character points. We've got a little bit of backstory about what the relationship is between the two. So if you remember, Rowena, she her sort of curses is that she has these prophetic hellscape visions. And she writes poetry about them, but she writes the more disturbing visions in a separate book that's in like a vault deep within the Corvus mansion. But she's well known for other styles of poetry that's about romance, the natural world, all that sort of stuff. Is that what she is? You know, that's what she uses to sort of cope with the other side to her art, let's say her cursed art. And I wanted to choose Summoner for her sister, as I believe the two are quite interlinked. So Annabel, she can summon spirits, talk to them, she sees spectres. So I feel the two are quite complementary, given the types of visions Rowena has. So if I talk a little bit more about Annabel, actually we'll compare the two so you can kind of see how I filled this out. So, if we begin from, actually we'll start from the top. So we've got a section here, what makes you Tenebrous. Also, I've got a lovely little Poe-inspired pendant here, so that could be our mascot for the game. To add a bit of ambience. So, sorry, that's actually what I was going to do. So, name, Rowena's a cursed poet, Annabel is the obsessed summoner. So what makes you Tenebrous? So Tenebrous means like creepy, gloomy. And so for Rowena, she is passionate, chaotic, and also maybe have a slight predisposition to smoke in the mist. So the mist in this game is very sinister. It contains spectres and spirits that can sort of snatch people through the mist and take them to the other side, which is sort of like an underworld. I may have gone, I think that's correct actually, that's a correct assumption. Yeah, I'll go with that, that's how I've interpreted it. So for Annabel, what makes her Tenebrous is she is paranoid, too fearless, and she's a little bit too much into invocation, she's a little bit addicted to it. So yeah, they both kind of have, I wouldn't say addictive personalities, but they get quite obsessed, the pair of them, into their sort of arts and what they're interested in. So of course, what makes you an aristocrat? Rowena, we've got poet, like last video. And for her sister, Anabel, what makes you an aristocrat is she's a summoner. So what makes you elegant? So Rowena is brilliant, innovative, and I can't actually read my handwriting there. Extravagant. And Annabel is pale. She has like a lost gaze. I think that's all to do with summoning. She wears a lot of red clothing. That was one of the options. I thought I'd go with that. So personality. So they're ranked slightly differently. So for the strongest trait in Annabel, she's more learned, but the strongest trait in Rowena, because she's a poet, she's creative. So then after Rowena, the joint seconds are learned and passionate, and Annabel's secondary characteristics are that she's proud and rational. And then after that, we've got, for Rowena, she is, her bottom two are proud, rational, and she's not at all physical. And for Annabel, her bottom two are passionate, creative, and again, least one is physical. So yeah, when we play the game and sort of inventing stories as we go along, you've got to kind of know, so these scores relate to sort of the dice you roll, or how many dice you get to roll against, like the Raven dice. So when you roll a lot of ravens, that could mean there's a more sinister twist in a story, some more bad things happen. If you roll more cats, it goes in the character's favour. So I wouldn't say good things happen, but the bad that happens is not as strong, let's say. So when I'm in sort of situations that I make up, what score do I choose? So a good way to think about this is, what am I being or acting like right now? If in doubt, use the second highest personality. Oh, that's interesting. So say if I'm unsure, if I know it's like between the two, I just go the second highest. So yeah, this is a distribution, how I've scored them, so I've been through that. And then we have an unsettling tendency. So I've just used the ones that are kind of suggested in the character sheet at the back, the prompts. So Rowena's unsettling tendency is to throw myself into danger and enjoy it. So when I'm in a situation where she's, say, being a little bit impulsive, I get an extra cat dice to that. So yeah, the scenario may go in my favour. With Annabel, hers is she discovers people's secrets by tenebrous means. So again, if she's trying to, I suppose in a way, divine something or sort of mind read what someone is thinking, I'd get more cat dice with that. So onto the curse. So the theme is like an obsession of creation. So for Rowena, her visions, so her art reveals a terrible prophetic, say, truths. And she can unleash this, I think, once per tale. So I'm not sure if that's the entirety of the game, because this game can get pretty huge, like a big D&D campaign. So I imagine that's maybe per sort of section or chapter, perhaps. That's how I'd use it. But in Annabel's curse, hers is I don't belong to this body / world, because she's very much in tune with the afterlife, spirit, spectres. She's got a bit of, I suppose, disassociation. There's a little bit of like, she's almost spent too much time there, or talking to spectres too much, that she almost feels disconnected from reality a little bit. So here's where I talk about the connection between Rowena and Anabel. So you helped Anabel to summon her love when he was lost. You nearly killed yourself to locate him using your visions. So Rowena, who is our summoner, Rowena always helps you to process your visions and write them down. So yeah, Rowena, I suppose, helps her in her art when she's writing the really heavy hellscape prophetic visions into this sort of more, say, restricted poetry book. So if we go on to Annabel's connection with Rowena, so you helped Rowena to escape a near-death experience. You nearly killed her to find your love. Rowena always helps you to relax and listens to what you have uncovered / heard in the mansion, so she uses this knowledge to make sense of her visions. So yeah, so Rowena's visions, even though they're this hellish, potentially maybe of the other side, you don't know, visions that she's having, some of it is also tied to the mansion, because the mansion is slightly cursed and there's a sinister vibe about it due to the history of the family. So the two are very much interlinked. And what Anabel can do, Anabel is very good at kind of sussing out what the servants are thinking, if any of the order are there observing them. She kind of gets a sense of, what their sort of motivations are, and what, and what they plan for the Corvus family, or want to try and, sort of manipulate or influence. So your personal mystery, Thomas, so for going back to Rowena, Thomas, who is her love, is unaffected by her poetry. So this means, Rowena's poetry does have like a magic about it. And because her visions almost come true sometimes, she doesn't really have these visions about Thomas, which is quite unique. So with the personal mystery with Anabel, so someone sends spectres to me that aren't summoned. So given her power as a summoner, it's almost kind of uncontrolled, or someone or something is manipulating it for whatever reason and sends spectres and ghosts to her when she hasn't actually taken any action to summon them herself. So onto the curse beloved, which is quite important. So for Rowena, her curse beloved is called Thomas Ruskin. Thomas is part of the Order, but he is in love with Rowena. And I had a prompt to be like, is the relationship, is Thomas deliberately trying to manipulate Rowena to get information for the Order, or is he genuinely in love with her and wants what is best for her? despite his connections to that organisation. So I've gone for the nicer one. So yeah, he is innocent and only wants what's best for me. So in a section here, you get prompted like what her mother thinks. And yeah, her mother thinks like basically Thomas is out to get her, and she can react in a way of like believing the mother and agreeing, but still, you know, going out with him anyway. Or she kind of disputes that and believes he's innocent. So I've gone with the innocent one. So for Annabel, her cursed beloved is called Sebastian Green. Their conflict is that Sebastian is actually a spectre, and he wants to be resurrected. And I've written in my book here that he was actually part of the Lodge when the Lodge was in power. So the Lodge were like, I suppose, like the ruling families before Poe arrived in Raven City. And before the Lodge, there was the ancestral magic. But the Lodge kind of harnessed it. And I think the Lodge actually created the mist. And as time went on, the Lodge kind of got corrupted and the mist kind of, you know, turned quite nasty. And what it is today is the link to the other side, which is quite a dark and bleak place. And so we're led to believe, I haven't gone into like the spoilers in Raven yet, but you don't know, it could be something different, but I think it's quite a sinister, horrible place. And then when Lord Poe arrived in Raven City, he defeated the Lodge, created his own order, but in turn he became corrupted, and the order basically turned against him to kind of oust him, I suppose, and eventually I think murder him. And yeah, because he was corrupted by the magic here. So it's almost like a repeat of what happened kind of to the Lodge as well. So I think according to Raven lore, I don't think there's anyone left from the Lodge as it stands. But we never know. But yeah, Sebastian is a spectre who was around. He was human when the Lodge was there. So my actions as a poet for Rowena, I've chosen, you know, secrets from anywhere in the city where there's a work of art. So the complication from that is it entails danger, which I think goes quite well with the prophetic vision she has. It kind of matches quite well in that she's able to see things other people don't. And for Annabel, her action summon that I've chosen, you have access to anyone of high society through your spiritual sessions. Complication, it entails future problems. So in a way, I feel that Annabel, she's like a top tier scryer of sorts, and she can kind of, you know, tune into that, I suppose, outer world as like a spiritualist and kind of delve in and out and use it as like, I don't know, an access point into what, you know, where other people are and what they're thinking. So let's have a look at Annabel's Corvus actions, actually. Okay, she indulges obsessively in her addiction or a beloved to recover from or ease a mental or physical after effect. This may generate a twist with complications involving your addiction or your beloved. Interesting. Okay, so if there's something bad, or if I'm writing something that is a bit threatening, she can do these things to kind of recharge a bit. Explore your mystery. Once per tale, you can request a scene that examines a clue to your mystery. So this is where she doesn't belong in the world. You can also ask to play a tale in which your mystery is solved. You'll have to use clues and involve your family. Okay, so we delve deep and really find out why she doesn't feel she belongs to her body or the world. It's not just like a throwaway statement. So for Rowena, her Corvus actions are she indulges obsessively in her addiction or in her beloved. Okay, so it's similar things. So her addiction is like smoking the mist or sampling the mist because it helps her kind of numb out these visions she gets. Same thing, it may generate a twist of complications, explore your mystery. Once per tale, you can request a scene. Yeah, it looks closer at why she has these terrible but prophetic, truthful visions. So there are other sections to fill out. So the curse and magic art, social circle, magical sacrifices. But these are more for if you're doing a much longer campaign. So as this is it's not really a one shot, but with this solo game, it's going to be much shorter than, say, a prolonged novel, is what they're called in here. So, but what you can do, I imagine, is once this is over, you could then probably extend it after playing the solo game. So, I think I'm ready to begin. So we have Annabel. So I'm not sure if Annabel may come up in this solo campaign. I may just like shoehorn her in. Well, not shoehorn her, but you know, make her a more salient character. But I thought I did want another, because I was going through the character sheet, the fact that they had brothers and sisters seemed quite an important component. Whether or not it's important for this game, I'm not sure, but I've made it anyway, just in case. And also I feel it can enrich the story, having that link, and maybe like an ally this person can turn to. I mean, and maybe, and what I would do if I want to involve Annabel, I may add with my sort of own discretion and judgment, add like cat dice to my dice pool, instead of just like hammering the poor character with loads of raven dice and having terrible things happen. So yeah, this could be a nice combative way of dealing with some of the things that are going to come up. So my last prompt that I finished on was developing the character, and as I was going through it, that became the majority of the video, as I thought it would be, because it's very detailed. So, and after that I wanted to create Annabel, which I did that off camera, so I've given you a little overview of what she is like and how the two are connected. So what I probably didn't cover in prompt 13 in the solo game was this. So in your pending problems that aids you, you'll note down situations that can harm or help you later. The adventure will ask, I remember this will be very clear in the book as I'm going along. And I think I've got, oh, did I fill this in? Poet actions. If I go to my poet, yeah, I think it's already listed for me. Yeah, I think that is fine. So I don't think I have to do sacrifices if I'm using a poet action, which I think is something to do with knowing, which is related to these. So if I do these, I may not get a complication. So your poet actions and your Corvus abilities allow you to do something no one else could, or use a magical effect typical of your archetype without having to make a sacrifice. The adventure will ask you at appropriate moments if you have any. Okay, so I'll be prompted whether to use an action or not. Okay, so that's cool, right. So we've covered 13 now. Now that you know who you are, you look around and remember that your loved one is not with you. So my loved one is Thomas Ruskin. So where is Thomas Ruskin? To know who they are, go to 16. Oh, I'm not sure if I read this before, if this was a bit of foresight. So your loved one is a member of the Order. It's already in there. You decide their name, appearance and gender. So I think I've done that. Appearance, I might leave blank for now because I'm kind of just more interested in the story in a minute. Note it down your cursed loved one section of the character book. So I've done that. The problem is that neither your mother nor your father knows they're in the mansion. They've absolutely forbidden it. They don't just trust them to be spying for Lord Usher, the leader of the Order, who's only looking for an excuse to judge and execute the family, and therefore you. You've had many arguments about the subject, and the last time your mother threatened you, if they ever return to this mansion, I will tear away the passion you feel for them and you'll forget them forever. Oof. Okay, so I think I did read this as I was creating my character sheet. So yeah, what do you think of your loved one's motives? So this is where I got this from. They are innocent and only want your good. I can tell it's only what's good for you. Again, I did translate this on my PDF. It obviously used a bit of AI to translate this. They are not innocent, but they love you. I'm going to change that. They only want what's best for you. They only want your good. What's best for you. So this was in Spanish previously. They are innocent, but they love you. You don't care, you love them. Okay, I was kind of leaning towards that one, but I thought, no, I think she genuinely believes that they're innocent and want what's best for her. Choose one and note it down your cursed loved one. After that, go to 24. So on to 24. And what I'm going to do is, before I begin this prompt, is I am going to really journal this down, because I could just steam through this book and just answer the questions very shallowly. But I'm going to treat it like a journaling game, like 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, where I really elaborate on what's going on. So, with fear you get out of bed, put on your robe and walk through the mansion, calling for your loved one. The servants are barely opening the thick curtains, shaking the rugs and lighting the fireplaces. They are agitated by your distress. To search for your loved one, go to 23. To ask the servants, go to 19. Okay, so I think I've got enough to start actually writing something quite meaningful now. I think I want to start introducing Tenebrous twists and things at this point. So I want to maybe think of like, so I think she's going to search for a loved one on her own. So we are going to go to 23, but I'm not sure if I want something, maybe there's a reason she came to that decision. So I might look at maybe a twist or a threat that made her go that way. And in the back of the Raven book of the ones I've printed out, there is like a little area where there are twists and things. So let's have a look. Oh, this could quite help actually. So I've just found a template. There's quite a lot in here. So as I was creating my character, I kind of forgot what this book contained. So this is like I think a streamlined version, cheat sheet, or check sheet rather, for your character. So I could potentially use this at some point and maybe print another copy. These are maps, but I'm not really interested in this yet because I'm not really playing it. I think when things get more complicated, you do more chapters, this could come in quite handy to know where your character's been and gone, but I'm not doing that yet. Corvus Forest, interesting, okay. Tale creation sheets. Okay, so there's a twist in that. So for example, because I'd say, so if you remember from my last video, the way this game is structured is very much like a novel. And I suppose we are in the exposition phase. We maybe have moved on a little bit, like we've developed our character a bit. We're kind of dipping our toes into the story now. So for me, for the twist level, and depending on like who is involved in that, I think it'd be probably only like 1 or 2 ravens I'd use. Let me see what I wrote. And maybe I'd have more cats at this point, so perhaps like 3 cats or something. So let's have a look. I mean, as well, like just as a note here, I'm playing this as how I would approach it. I'm maybe completely playing this differently to what it's intended, but this is me kind of putting my own, what I think is, how I would play it. So you could play it potentially how I've done, or kind of whatever, is more so in the book. But I think I'm sticking to the book quite well, but I may be completely kind of putting my own spin on this without realising. So yeah, I'd say at the minute we're in the exposition phase. We're not really in development because not a lot has happened yet. Tension, we're not really yet. So after development, you get tension. That's when things start happening to your character. So development is like you're getting more into the plot. You're getting an idea of what you have to do. Tension is you are doing it and you're kind of fighting through it. And resolution is like the coming down, the ending. So you've nearly resolved what you set out to do. So if we're in exposition, I get to use 1 cat. And it's 0 missed dice at the minute. So missed dice are ravens. But let's have a look here. But I could potentially get more cats by using my personality. Okay, so given what the situation is, what I think of, I will see how it relates to her personality, add some cat dice. I might be a bit cruel and add some more ravens. Because, I mean, do I want her to... So yeah, I mean, it could be blank and I could end up with a threat anyway. Okay, yes, I remember now. So whatever happens, even like the lowest amount of ravens versus cats, whatever, it's always going to be a twist with complications. Okay, magic always requires a sacrifice, except in some circumstances when I use my poet actions. Okay, rolling dice. So yeah, it will always be a twist with complications. Right, and I've gone through like what stage you're in exposition. Okay, so that's cool. Put you back up there. So where are my little twists here? Because I have some examples. Let's have a look. I think I may have gone past them. I think I have. I think I'm in the glossary section. Here we go. This is it. This is it. Okay. So what the mist brings. These tables help you create scenes or twists in any moment. They're non-specific suggestions to help you define. So yeah, this game, it's very much you doing it. So it's not like there's tables to roll for, things like that. It is literally your own pure imagination, let's say, using the world that is supplied to him, which is why it's such a rich world, because they've given you so much material to work with. So if I look at kind of like the hints with the twists, so determine the scene or twist. 5 ravens, captains. I'd say, what is the lowest? Spectral being a sinister threat. I think we're going to have a sinister threat, potentially. A threat that is connected to... I'd say... Oh, there's quite a few things I could choose from. Joe, we'll see what we get. Okay, right, I'm going to keep this in mind, and when I go to roll, that's when I'm going to use this. So thick mist to be 3 ravens. Okay, so maybe the phrase in that is basically like, do I choose to speak to servants or not? But I want her... My mind is taken that she doesn't want to speak to servants because they're quite weird. And, you know, I think they could be potentially spies from the Order. In my game, they're going to be potentially spies, so the Corvuses don't like talking to their servants. It's almost like the servants were forced upon them. Okay, where am I now? Okay, let's go back to 13. Go to 16. So I've been to 16. 24, okay. We feel get back. So we'll start the story as... Should I do it in third person? Yeah, we'll do it in third person. Rowena awoke with a start. She turned on her side and felt. She turned on her side. The bed was unusually cold. Her love was not there. The room was silent. Too silent. She knew in her bones something sinister had happened. Nothing good. No, that's not what I say. Surprises are never welcome in the Corvus mansion. It's part of their curse or burden. Their gilded lives come with a cost. So she's woken up, she's scared, she's panicking, she wants to find where Thomas is, and she's even more worried because her mother, she's like, oh God, where is he? Because if my mum is wandering around the mansion, she sees him. You know, the stakes are quite high now. She could banish him from the mansion, also wipe Rowena's memory of him. Of course, yeah, they are a very magical family, so I imagine her mum has these powers where she can manipulate people. So where was I? I was about to... I'm on 24. So still on 24, I throw the covers off the bed and leap. Okay, it's not that bad. I throw the covers off the bed and grab my dressing gown. From my wardrobe. So yeah, she's not even getting dressed at this point. She's just throwing on a dressing gown. She's got her night clothes on. She's padding along the carpet. But what makes her go no home or ask the servants? So I'm gonna roll. So if she's making this decision, I'm gonna look at her. I know I'm getting a bit like D&D here, like rolling for everything, but this will feed into something bigger I have in mind. So if she is, so at the minute, she isn't being rational at all. So I think she's being passionate. She's being very reckless. So I think I get to add 2 cat dice. So we've got 2 cat dice, and I say we've got 1 raven. So let's just see what we get for cats. Oh, we got 1 positive cat, because that's a 4 and above, and the other side was blank, so no cats. We've got 1 cat, and we've got 1. Oh, we don't have a raven, so we just have 1 cat, and that means, if I can get my thing up, I think that's a favourable twist with complications. Okay, so she gets what she wants, but something bad happens. Okay, so what does she want? If she doesn't want to approach the servants, then she doesn't. She goes searching on their own. Okay, so... Okay, maybe because she doesn't ask the servants, she is stuck somewhere. She goes, okay, so... wardrobe. I spot the servants getting... the mansion ready for the day. They are dusting the surfaces from last night's entertainment. No, last night's banquet. Let's make it grand. And much to my dislike, they are heaving open the huge curtains that line the hallway, which leads to my bedroom suite. So as it's a mansion, she's not just in a bedroom, it's a huge room with, say it has 2 bathrooms attached to it. So imagine if you're a hotel, you've got a giant bed, there's like a sofa in there, huge wardrobe. She may have a little writing table where she does poetry. Then maybe she's got a separate like jewellery section. Yeah, it's not a jewellery box, it's like a jewellery case cabinet. And the carpet is very thick, the curtains are huge and heavy. There's a massive fireplace in there. You know, it's still burning from last night, so it's quite warm still. And yeah, she's woken up, and that's when she puts her arm out and feels like the bed is cold on one side. So she realised Thomas, he's disappeared and he's been gone for a while because the bed has cooled down. So she's got out of bed, she's got her dressing gown on, and she's ventured out into the hallway where she sees the servants going about the day. And given the servants don't have a good rep in the Corvus household, she's decided not to approach them, and she's gone on her own to find Thomas. So, but what's the twist? Because she is venturing out alone, she may not find him as quickly as she would like, or she might miss out on intel, or she might miss out on valuable information. So this I might hold for later on, the fact that she could have found something out but hasn't. That could be a good point of conflict. And yeah, it goes to that whole thing of her being impulsive. She's left. She's gone out her bedroom and she's gone to find him. So, where were we? 24. So the servants have noticed that she is quite determined and quite distressed. So we're going to go to 23. Oh, here we go. Right above it, I didn't realise. You search on your own, traversing the drawing room, the tea room. Then you look out the window and see a raven observing you, mocking. Its feathers wet from the night fog, pecking at the window and pushing it wildly to get in. If you open it, go to 22. If you try to close it, go to 29. Okay, so you know what I might do? I might actually mark off where we've been, because that might help. So I'm going to ignore, like... Okay, this I think you can cut out, but for easiness sake, I'm going to just write in where I've been. So let's just say... oh, this is the garden. Where's the garden features? Father's wing. Ah, tea room. Oh, interesting. Okay, so along here, so we've been to the tea room. We've been to the... Is a drawing room in here? Might add that. The drawing room, which I think is equivalent to a living room now. Could be wrong. Okay. Then you look out the window. I saw in the tea room, look out the window, you know. I see a raven observing you, mocking its feathers wet from the night fog, pecking at the window and pushing it wildly to get in. If you open it, go to 22. If you try to close it, go to 29. Okay, so I'm ignoring what 22 says, because I know it's Tenebrous. But I think, given she is impulsive and a bit reckless, and she's obviously in quite a delicate frame of mind because her lover's gone missing, she's got to open this window, and she knows the relationships the Corvuses have with ravens. They are kind of the enemy of the Corvuses, and they're kind of harbingers of bad things. They're related to the mist, so they're quite dangerous for the Corvuses. So I'm going to put 22 here. Sorry, I was on this prompt. Do you know what I might do? I might be going a bit off piece here, but I'm going to involve Annabel in this. So, and as well, because Annabel's a summoner, again, I might be reaching here. Maybe she has sensed that Rowena is in a state of distress and she is awoken as well. And given if something sinister has happened to Thomas, maybe she can feel it due to her connection to spirit spectres, and I believe it's not a stretch to say the other side. That so she, I think, has got a sense where Rowena is, and she's followed her. She's followed her into the tea room. So, as Rowena is in the tea room, she sees the raven. She's had a vision about ravens recently, and she's going to open the window and let the raven in. So, so she's worried about, well, not worried, but I've written in third person that she could miss out on valuable information by doing things alone. So her search took her to the drawing room. And then tea room. She saw the servants, chefs, and other caterers preparing for the day ahead. The smell of pastries, cooking, cooking filled the air. She would be enjoying it had she not been fixated on finding out where Thomas had disappeared to. Sensing her distress, Annabel Annabel rushed up to Rowena just as she opened the window. She was too late. Rowena had let something evil into the mansion. So Tenebrous 10. Oh, the worst that can happen, whether by roll or an effect of your decision. The raven pushes a window, scratching you with its claws, and disappears into the corridors. Note down the consequences, saw, and problem. Okay. So this is where I think if we go back to 13, yeah, I've got a problem. So, problem. Raven. So if I got a thing in my... Is there anything in here about listing a problem? I don't think so. Okay, I'll just write it in the book and highlight it or underline it. Problem. Raven in the mansion. I was alone for the sake of this. I don't want to break the game. Let's just say Rowena, she saw the raven, and Annabel was with her. Annabel was there. Let's highlight even more. Okay. Rowena had let something evil in the mansion. Anabel was not fast enough to stop the raven pecking. I say pecking, not claws, sort of takes a bite however it flies off, pecking at Rowena as it flew in. Rowena, I say it pecked on the shoulder, cupped her shoulder in pain as the raven flew away. Her shrieks echoed throughout the mansion. It's a wonder Mother did not hear her. Anabel cradles her sister in her arms, and Rowena tells her that Thomas is missing. Annabel says she felt him go and thought something terrible had happened. It's why she went to find her. Oof. Okay, so far, Thomas is missing. Rowena has gone into the tea room. She has ignored the servants and wished to get their help. A raven was tapping at the window, wanting to come in. Ravens are spectres and harbingers of doom in this world. And in her, I suppose, lack of thinking, I suppose her if her curse is to be impulsive, yes. So let's just say I had, that was the one DC, yeah. I had one from, I should have maybe had an extra cat, but it passed anyway. So yeah, so she was being impulsive and thought maybe in her panic state of mind that the raven may be able to tell her, or she could make a bargain with the raven to let her know where Thomas was, because when things happen in the mansion, it's never good. They know something serious is afoot. Okay, if I were alone, go to 49. So I'll read this and see what happens. And if something happens where it's crucial she's alone, I'll just write Annabel to go away and research something. 49. Oh, you've gone back in the drawing room. The wind is howling outside and the fog is stirring against the windows. You are afraid that your curse will hurt someone you love. To search for a loved one on your own, go to 23. To look for servants to ask them, go to 19. I'd say she still wants to be on her own. So, Rowena went back to the drawing room. As she did not properly search for anything of interest while when she originally passed through it. The fog is growing thicker. And with it, the strength of the Corvus curse. She is worried that Thomas, if outside, could succumb to the mist. Search of unknown over 23. Okay, Joe, I'm going to roll for a threat. And I'm going to use 2 ravens and 1 cat to see what we get. Oh, we get 1 raven. Does the cat cancel it out? Oh, cancel it out. So we've got a favourable event, but with complications. So she's going to search for a loved one again. Again, she's not going to ask the servants. So again, the complication could be she has her own her impulsivity has cost her valuable information. So I think she's in a state of distrust. The mist is building. Her love has disappeared. Annabel has gone back to her room to see if she can ask the Spectres if they know anything about Thomas. Okay, we're going back to 23. I've already been on 23. Oh, I think I have to go to... There is a thing in here that explains if you go to the same prompt twice what to do. Okay, we're going to ask the servants. We're going to go to 19. If you ask the servants, ask them to keep the window closed, which a large raven is flapping its wings and scratching its beak trying to get in. If you help close it, go to 29. If you decide not to help, go to 22. Okay, cool. Right, because we've already let this raven in, I'm going to go to 22. So, she decides not to go on to search Thomas and thinks, okay, maybe I should speak to the servant, but she sees the servant flapping into, so I should say the raven's already in. The servant is trying to shush this raven away, and Rowena sees that she's too busy to actually help her, so she leaves her to it, and we're going straight to 22. This is a Tenebrous turn. Ooh, the worst thing. Oh, I've already done this. Go to 49. Okay, so a few little loops here. So we're going to 12 now. So I'm going to change it a bit. So she's realised the servant is too busy with this raven. So she's still on her own. Do you know what? I'm going to search on her own. And as she's walking away, a spectral being, she's told of a spectral being that's walking the corridors searching for something behind locked doors. So if we go back to what we've just written, she is worried that Thomas, if outside, could succumb to the mist. Is my camera up? No, she approaches. She thinks of approaching a servant, but they appear, but they are distracted by trying to shoo away the raven. Rowena has just let in. She decides to carry on her search, and as she's in the drawing room, I think she is, and as she leaves the drawing room, she bumps into another servant on the way out. The servant is a young girl, very pale, jet black hair. Her eyes are wide. Something has terrified her. Rowena looks equally as shocked, but her reasons are entirely different. Ooh. She asked the girl, "What's wrong?" thinking she may have some news on Thomas.